I'm Dick Erb from the New Orleans Philharmonic. I play bass trombone there, and I've had the pleasure of studying with Mr. Jacobs for a long time, many years, since 1966, in small doses spread over that time. And there's something that I'm very curious about, which is it's apparent that you have a very organized and structured knowledge of behavioral and learning psychology. Apart from anatomy and physiology, this is a totally different discipline. And I've always been very curious about where that came from and where you gathered that particular part of all the things that you know. And I'd like to know a little about that.
Most of it is from just observation and common sense. Everybody's a psychologist, whether you use terminology, but to live on this planet, work with people, you're all psychologists. And Sheldon here, of course, is a doctorate in psychology. I don't have a degree in psychology, but he's still learning from me.
Now he wants to teach you something.
Right, right.
Tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about this, but what Arnold has done really is he has, based on the information that he had from his students, intuited the laws that we have come to understand through intuition and at least 60 years of research. And I teach learning theory at a graduate level, and he's on the money.
This came about, as I say, through curiosity and through putting many factors together. In other words, I had myself as an example, a fairly trouble-free player. I had people with problems. I have people in other fields that I watch for. I have studied the structures. I have studied a good deal about the brain. I follow the research that's going on in various disciplines. I'm an avid reader of that. I have talked to many expert people within these fields. And so this is a culmination of, what you might say was many years of investigation. And again, I want to stress that the answers are all in simplicity, not complexity. The study of what we are has become so complex. In other words, what I thought was complex back in 1944 and then 45 and 46 doesn't even approach the true complexity of what we are. I would have to live many lifetimes, I think, to be able to get a really comprehensive knowledge of there. But every time you have a piece of knowledge come in on this, there's 4 doors that have to be opened on the other side. Then you get those 4, and there's 4 for each door on the other side. It's just a constant expanding affair. So I've learned to recognize that whoever designed us, what we are in a religious or whatever sense we are, we have magnificent brains, of which none of us really can truly comprehend the magnificence of it. I don't think any of us even begin to use our brains with real efficiency. In other words, training would have to start from birth and go and the understanding of what to train and everything else is not there yet. If I had the knowledge 30 years ago that I have today, I'm sure I'd be very far along compared to what I am today, and I've done pretty well with what I have. But what I'm trying to indicate to you is the answers really lie in the studies of motivation, the study of what people are like, what we're doing, and logical thought and how to use our brains intelligently and not really wasting our time. Sure, you can lower blood pressure by biofeedback, by concentrating along certain lines of thought so the mood changes, that the brain doesn't race, and it can then relax and focus in on something simple where the body will tend to relax and the blood pressure will go down. But again, in other words, if you're happy and if you have wonderful thoughts and they're calm, you're going to have it anyway, unless you're a salt freak or something like that, or certain physical abnormalities come in. But what I'm trying to say is to use the brain efficiently. There's more knowledge today than there's ever been on this subject. The one thing I would say, and from my own limited knowledge, is simply don't waste it on trying to control something you can't control, like an embouchure. When you've controlled music, you've controlled embouchure. You don't control meat to control sound. You control sound to control meat. It's just simply a reversal of that. It could be checked out. It's not just my statement.